Well, I always ask for your ideas when it comes to my Sunday morning recipes, and several of you have delivered. I'm testing out the latest one in this week's Brittany's Bites. Okay, we are doing another guest recipe today. I love this and I'm excited to try it. This one comes from Jan Hicks in Delaware. She sent it to me saying that she's not the cook in the family. She can't even boil water. She says her husband used to be the cook in the family, and this recipe actually comes from his family's cookbook. She said if he kept it around that long, it must mean it was good. So it's called Chinese salad, and basically it's cabbage and those ramen noodles you buy in the grocery store in those little packets, and some seasoning, really easy ingredients. And I thought, this is great. I wanted to try this one. She sent me two because my mom makes one like this as well. And speaking of my mother, I have to point out, she got this apron for me, actually two of them for my birthday. So hopefully I will remember to wear them when I do these segments, because as you probably know, I'm not clean in the kitchen. I get pretty messy. So this is very helpful. Thanks, Mom. Okay, now to this recipe. Again, we just have these little packets, and you can probably use any flavor you'd like. I think the recipe calls for the original flavor or the soy sauce flavor. I like that because this is the only vegetarian ramen you can get, so I can eat this as well. So it's two packages. I've broken up the noodles and then I've saved these little sauce packs over here. Here in the pan, I have an entire stick of butter melted. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour some of the noodles in, brown the noodles, and then after they get a little brown, I have a little package of slivered almonds that I'm gonna toss in there as well. So really getting some nutty flavor going on in here. I think it's warm enough, so we're gonna pour all of this in. There we go. So we're gonna get those browning just a little bit before we add those slivered almonds. I'm gonna keep this handy because I'm gonna pour this back in afterward. Meanwhile, the other sort of base part of this salad is sort of the greens. Now, it calls for a head of cabbage, or you can just buy coleslaw, because what is coleslaw mix made of? Cabbage, right? And then you've got the carrots in there as well, which I thought was great. And I think the recipe also said that the author uses sometimes just a bag of lettuce. So if you don't really like cabbage for whatever reason, it looks like you can use whatever greens you want. So I'm gonna pour that in here. Again, already nicely chopped up for me. Easy, easy, easy. Why not do that? And then to that, we're going to add 5 green onions chopped. Now, I'm not a huge fan of green onions, but I'm going with it for this recipe. I think it helps with the flavor. I think it's important. So I'm gonna sprinkle those in there, and this is the basis of the salad. So we've got the crunchy part, which is going over here. I think I need to turn it up just a little bit so that we can get those browned. And then we've got the greens, and then of course, what do you have with salad? Dressing. I have here the start of the recipe, or the start of the dressing rather. So this is 1 cup of oil, and like I said, it wasn't specified which oil, so I went ahead and used lighter flavor or light tasting olive oil, and then 1/2 cup of rice vinegar. Again, this didn't specify in the recipe which vinegar, so I chose rice vinegar because it sort of has an Asian feel and an Asian theme, so I chose that. And then a 3/4 cup of sugar I put in there as well. The last step is to put 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, again sticking with the Asian flavoring here. So I'm gonna measure over here, got a little extra splashed. Thank goodness for this apron, right? Okay, I did a little bit better with that one. I love the smell of soy sauce. So we have the noodles, and I broke them up a little bit more. I don't think I broke them up enough the first time, and also then added the slivered almonds. So I think it's pretty golden brown. It smells nice and nutty right now, so I'm liking that. The next step, and really the last step before we combine everything, those little packets that come in the ramen noodles, you wanna put those in. It's pretty good. That looks like plenty. I'll stir this all up. Now that smells really good. And then we've got our dressing here. So we've got 1 cup of oil, 1/2 cup of vinegar, and that's rice vinegar and light tasting olive oil. And then we have our sugar and our 2 tablespoons, or teaspoons rather, of soy sauce. All right, so this is kind of mixed up enough. I wanna put it in here just to cool it down a little bit, because I don't feel like I want to immediately put it on the salad. I mean, thankfully, cabbage holds up pretty much. If you were using salad, or regular lettuce, it would wilt a little bit. So we've got that there. And then let's pour a little bit of the dressing on first before we combine it. I kind of like the idea of that. And again, if you were not serving this right away, keep these separate, don't put the dressing on. All right, get a little dressing on there. And now we'll go ahead and add this in. It smells so good, nice and buttery. Okay, now I'm gonna mix this up a little bit, get it all combined, add a little bit more of the dressing, although it looks so great so far. Okay, well there we go. All I have to do is put it in a bowl, clean up my total mess around here, and there you have Chinese salad, courtesy of Jan Hicks and her family. Thank you so much for sending this. I can't wait to try it. Might become one of my family recipes now. Cheers. Well, if you have a recipe you would like to share, just like Jan did, or an idea for a future segment, you can text us at 614-460-3345 or find me on social media. And I love